Hello and welcome to the fifth episode of season 5. This is Disaster. You are listening to Next Generation's first generation, where myself, Sasha Shouties, and my co-host Patrick Delmore,
Hello, everybody.
we are going to be watching and reviewing this disaster of an episode. No? Okay.
Yep.
So we like this episode. It's very close to our
Oh,
hearts
yeah.
because when Patrick and I were in preliminary talks about doing a 30th anniversary podcast, he's like, hey, let's have a few beers and watch this episode and see how it goes. And we liked it so much that this is kind of what caused us to start recording, and we just haven't stopped. So I'm pretty happy about it. In this episode, we have a plethora of actors and co-actors and uncredited stars and stunt doubles and stand-ins and photo doubles. We have...
Oh, totally.
There is a huge amount of people behind this episode because basically it's about 4 mini stories in 40 minutes when you think about it. But I don't want to just give it the shop away here in the first 30 seconds. No, we would like you to sync up your viewing devices. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, and play. There's the Enterprise. It is an everyday casual episode. There is not a lot going on. It's their weekend, so they are just going to relax and have some leave. Here we are in 10 forward, and there's Keiko, and we're about to discover she is really pregnant.
A little bit of unintentional foreshadowing. They say that if they're going to have a son, that they're going to name a Hero, and then one day they do.
What is that baby's name? Hero? I can't remember.
The son that they have on Deep Space Nine, Hiroyoshi.
Hiroyoshi. Oh, okay, cool. I always wondered what it was like being a pregnant lady, having people feel my belly for kicks. That's it's an attention magnet that I don't think I could really navigate. Oh wow.
He did not actually kiss her. He leaned forward and made a kissy sound.
It was
it
was air kiss.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Now we have Dr. Crusher trying to recruit Geordi into what? One of her plays?
Doing a musical, yes. Wants her to sing a little bit of I Am the Very Model of a Modern Major General, which we will get to see Spock and Number One sing together in the Star Trek shorts.
Yes. Those were great. Look at those beautifully stacked containers. Good thing Worf isn't in this cargo bay for the episode.
Now, as somebody who works with hazardous waste, those get used for, if we had had an Ebola, what have you, they would have gone in all of the sheets and clothing would have gone in containers like that to be destroyed, like those yellow containers.
Ah, okay. This is Picard is really good at practicing his coping skills. He's talking to kids on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is he's getting ready for Captain Picard Day.
He gets a good turnaround on here. I think all these kids are like actually actors, but it would have been fun if they had been like hired, kids that won a contest on the back of a cereal box to be on Star Trek.
Yeah. So the child in the pink and the child in the green got to keep their full names, with the exception of their first name was changed. So, for example, the kid in the green, his name is John Christian Grass, and they just changed it to Jay. And for Miss Erica Flores, who is in the pink, it's just Marissa. So there we go.
He looks so much like the actor Reed Diamond. I wonder if it's his brother or something.
Yeah. He could do a Dennis the Menace too.
Yeah. he's a little bit more harsh featured than Dennis the Menace should be. But
Mm.
now the disaster has struck, the turbo lift is dropping.
Oh, the kids probably loved this scene. It's like, okay, the room's shaking, fall to the floor.
Honestly, they all do a good job, except the scene where they're supposed to be crying, and you can tell that they're all pretending to cry.
Yeah, and I'm really glad they brought in all these extras and co-stars, because it really shows that the ship is alive. I mean, when Godzilla walks through the city, you want the city to be populated, and I think that was kind of the attitude here. Who is this lady?
She's the command officer on the bridge
on
right
the
now.
Shift, yeah.
Which is kind of disappointing. I mean, they did this to kind of seed some stuff with Troy and with Ro, but I wish that they'd kept. I kind of wish they'd kept this woman alive, just so that we could have seen people we'd never seen before having to interact with a senior officer that we didn't know.
Yeah, the guy who died there, he was actually in several episodes. So it's kind of sad to see him die. He's just a familiar face in the background, I guess you could say.
Yeah. He didn't die initially, though. Does he die later on? Because it's only the woman at the con that dies right away.
I don't know. We'll have to dig into it a little bit. This is where we also get to see Molly. The first Molly.
I don't think Molly is named in this episode yet.
No, you don't think?
No.
No, they weren't. That was the conversation, is that they didn't have a name picked out yet. And then William's like, you should try William.
There's a lot of Williams on the Enterprise.
But only one is named Bill, and I'm not him. Okay, this episode, when did it come out? This came out in October 21st. So you've got your Halloween costume sorted out. You've got your sleeping bag ready to go. You are camping. You are waiting. It's just a matter of time till candy comes knocking at your door.
We hope so. We hope that that COVID has not gotten worse. It's got colder out, and we're here in Seattle. We're in one of the hottest summers of our lives, which is good for the virus not spreading. Yeah. We're recording this in July. For the first time since COVID hit, I walked down the street without my mask on yesterday.
Good lighting. Look at that. They bring up the blue lights.
Yes, the hazard lights.
Oh, this episode just has so much fun. It's actually really only on 3 cents. Oh, he's not dead. Look at that. He's looking around.
So, although Colm Meaney is rarely on the bridge, and I don't.
Why was he on the bridge? He was at 10-4 just a moment ago, and he
got called away. He left Keiko there, but here he is he's kind of the resident expert on how the ship operates. And Ro's going to show up, and what sucks for Colm Meaney and to a degree or what sucks to Chief O'Brien, I should say, and to a degree to Troy, is that because O'Brien is not an officer, Ro outranks him. So he has to do everything Ro says. He does not like.
I did not know that.
Yep. Ro is an officer, even though she is just an ensign.
So this actress who died, her name is Jana Marie Hupp. Born in 1964, April 2nd. Almost a joke baby, but not quite. Born in Spokane, Washington. Look at that. She's just on the other side of the mountains. Went to Western Washington University.
Wow.
Cow. Wow. But her big claim to fame was theater, and did a little bit of film, a little bit of television. And you can just kind of look her up on the interwebs. Oh, Picard, you never tell kids to stop crying.
Yep.
Wow.
Cover your faces. It looks fake.
Oh, these
what
poor kids.
Gabriel Beaumont is telling those kids.
So this episode was directed by
Gabriel Beaumont.
Yep, and she was the first female director in the Star Trek.
So it's Gabrielle, not Gabriel.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but this wasn't her first. This wasn't her first directing episode in Star Trek, though. I want to say, did Booby Trap was the first one.
Oh, nice. The Packland.
Mm-hmm.
So Ensign Rowe, our Bajoran freedom fighter, has shoved her way onto the bridge.
But where did she come from? Did she just climb?
She was in a turbo lift that happened to be close to the bridge.
Oh, okay. All right, they're already working it out that there's something wrong. They don't know what. There's something going on. Bulkheads have collapsed.
Rowe does not react at all to the corpse right next to her.
Well, when you grow up in a war-torn disaster area, you've seen one dead body, you see them all, I guess. Miss Forbes, I think, is the actress's name, right?
Yeah. Yes, Michelle Forbes.
Michelle, yeah. Boy, I wish she stayed with the franchise.
Well, she gets around. She does her. She does Babylon 5 after this.
Oh, yeah.
She does True Blood. She does Homicide. She has the show In Treatment. She's definitely, I think she's somebody that likes to do television quite a bit. Doesn't want to stay with specific franchises.
Oh, here we go.
Yep, this is the big reveal that Troy is a lieutenant commander. So she's in charge, but she needs to be advised on what's going on. Which I think is a little bit silly because Worf here later on is talking about, all the simulations that he had to go through. Now I think they retconned this to say that, because she wasn't working toward command, that she didn't have to go through a lot of the command simulations at all.
Yes.
So later on.
Well, it's weird to see the ship with all the lights out like that. I know. Another raging party down at 10 Forward. Guinan, you've outdone yourself today. Look at that. Look at all those extras. Is that Will laying down on the ground? No, that's the other Will. Oh,
he's comforting whoever this is.
That is Keiko.
No. Is it? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Though I want to say that O'Brien establishes his key role, his character type in this episode. So a few minutes ago, when he was establishing the pecking order of command, he said very assertively, "You are in charge. Here's what I recommend, and here are all the awesome things I can do." And O'Brien has always kind of been a servant leader where he doesn't take leadership, he offers it and just kind of gives the more senior person in the room yes, I'm going to let you give me permission to do this.
He's still a team leader. He's not a department head. I mean,
yes, yeah.
I think he works in parallel with Geordi. You don't often see Geordi bossing what's his name? O'Brien around.
Mm-hmm.
I think O'Brien's got his team and Geordi's got his team, and Geordi can probably draw from O'Brien's team anytime he needs to do that.
Oh, and I would imagine transporter chief and engineering chief are probably two very, they work a lot. They're both engineers. Well, Here we go. Plasma fire.
This is so creepy to me as a kid that it's like, green. It's like Zool was going to come out of there or something.
I didn't understand plasma as a kid, and I'm like, why would they have a wall of green gas. Like, I thought everything was electricity, but no, the ship runs on plasma. I still don't really understand, to tell you the truth.
Well, everything with how this ship works is made up as it goes along, and then the people that write the technical manuals have to scramble to get everything to fit together properly. There is one thing coming up here that I decided on watching this that I don't like, because they have to fix, there's a problem they have to fix, and they can only do it because Data happens to be an android. And I wish that, and they sort of talk around, well, there has to be another way to do this, and Data's kind of like, well, not in a pinch, there isn't. So if Data was not a member of the crew, they would never have been able to get out of the situation that they were in, is essentially the conceit that they have to make.
I look at it from another point of view. I see this as, yeah, they're all working towards a common cause, and Data kind of saves the day. I would almost say that this is an early escape room concept, where you have these teams that have to work together to solve a problem to escape.
That's a really great way of looking at it. It's
go ahead.
It's funny to me, when I first watched this episode, the girl playing Marissa was older than me. And now it's like, wow, what a little kid.
Oh, this is kind of interesting. Look at that. He's giving her some pips.
Yep.
She's a pipsqueak.
They're all pipsqueaks. But it's nice to, after he yelled at them to stop crying, he becomes like immediately perfect with kids, which, he's using the rule of acknowledge that they're children, but actually have realistic expectations of them. It's like, yes, you're kids, but we're in a situation where, you do need to do things, and it's working out pretty good for him. I want to be the Radish King. And how many times have you watched Spirited Away? 1 million.
This reminds me of a meme that's been circulating the internet about how Will Wheaton asked for a raise, and they said, instead of giving you more money, how about if we give you a promotion on the screen?
Right. Let's get to work.
Yeah, there we go. So Data and Riker are walking through a Jeffries tube, but they don't really explain their transition from 10 forward to where they are now.
Well, presumably they got in there from 10 forward. Oh no, gas, gas, gas. Move, move, move.
We can't breathe the coolant.
Hands and knees, hands and knees.
I like the Jeffrey tubes with the food service mats with the black rings rather than this. This looks a little bit more painful on the knees.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. And here we go back in the cargo bay. They've got to move these containers of
to the least radioactive area of the room.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's a Hobson's choice for sure. It's like it's only going to delay the inevitable. They're going to get radiation sickness, which I love that the doctor's like, but I have, a magic wand in sick bay that'll counter it no matter what happens, as long as we aren't here forever. But compare this to the episode we watched where they have to take the garbage ship and throw it into the sun. Like, yeah, they're all going to get sick from radiation. In this one, you believe that I believe that there are stakes in this one. I did not believe in those stakes in that other episode. But it's like, it's fine. They're on TV. They'll get out of it. One of my favorite jokes ever on this, where he's explaining to her what quantum filaments are. And she says that, so it's a little like a cosmic string. And he's like, no, that's a completely different phenomenon. Because the joke always was like, yeah, there's something separating us from entering the other side. Oh yeah, like the grease trap in your sink. Yes, exactly like that. And this time he just mansplains it away by going like, no, it isn't, lady.
That's a completely improper procedure.
But it is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite low-key Star Trek jokes. Where somebody makes a comparison and it just gets thrown out.
Boy, Troy is not taking commands. She's just letting everybody kind of do their own thing.
Yep. So when it comes down to, and I like this because this is a real conflict where it's not a who's right and who's wrong. It's a whose will is stronger deal where Ro wants them to detach the saucer section because there's no way to know if anybody else is alive in the rest of the ship. Mm-hmm. And Troy's kind of like, well, I have faith that they might be alive, so I don't want to detach the saucer section. Both of their arguments make sense. It's not a right versus wrong. It's a Troy has to step up and be like, no, I'm the boss. We're going to do it my way. And they both do a great job of playing this. But here's why I sort of wish that the gal that was at the con that got killed had survived, because O'Brien in this scene is so much like typical white lump, you know. It's like you've got two very strong women that have to decide on a choice, and they have to put the most stereotypical white man in there to navigate that. It would have been interesting if it had been, a third woman or a
non-conductive material.
Well,
basically Troy, not O'Brien.
Troy would have been the third woman. So if you have there's a problem though with the duty officer who died. There would have been no conversation of who's in charge. She's the duty officer,
right?
By the name, her name was Wendy. By the way, Commander Wendy.
First of all, android or not, I wouldn't ask anyone to take.
Yeah, somewhere else there's in some alternate universe there's a Commander Wendy show. That's all about how when everybody died on the Enterprise, Commander Wendy survived.
By the way, Wendy was a stand-in for Denise Crosby. So that in Redemption 2 out of all the episodes. So
Yes, sir.
So very recently,
all the guest stars here just are kind of like season 4, season 5 guest stars. It was like, well, we got you here for a season, so let's put you in on all these episodes.
So here's where they have the conversation. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a conversation where Data is going to have to remove his head and basically throw his body into this live electrical arc.
Yeah, they don't have the special effects yet to do Data's body walking around without a head, so he does it with his body first. It does a great job of this. Great Brent Spiner.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it because it's a sensation he's never felt before. So it's pretty. He loves it. He's like, it was quite a sensation.
Wow. I wonder if they put a board down his back just so
I bet they did.
Roll a little easier.
Are you all right? Did the shielding work?
Apparently so, sir. My neural nets are still fully operational.
Boy, he just got electrocuted, and they're having a conversation. How weird is that?
He got electrocuted and he liked it. His next relationship is going to be with a fire plug.
Oh boy. Okay, where are we? We are in the turbo lift. And the turbo lift might be falling.
They unscrewed the top.
You think that they would either make the turbo lift a little shorter, or they would throw in a little collapsible bench so you could get out at the top?
Yep.
One of my fears is actually getting stuck in an elevator. Like, okay, am I going to force the doors? Can I climb out of the hatch out of the top? Like, is that a thing?
You really don't want to force the doors because you never know how long it's going to stay in one spot. And if you were to like jump out and it started to fall while you're in mid jump, you get cut in half.
Ouch.
Whatever part of you is still in the elevator is gone.
Oh, why did you have him come back down? No. Now you're just going to have to lift him again. Good job, Picard. Choices. Yeah. I'm surprised that the communication badges don't work with each other, because you could beam 5 people on a planet, they would be miles apart and their communication badges would still work. But on a ship where you literally might have someone just on the other side of that wall and your communication badge does not work.
And I was going to say, I'm glad that when Troy had to try to get everybody from the bridge, she used her comm to get all those people, but they didn't make her slap her breast every time that she was trying to get a hold of someone. I was like, yep, obviously a woman directing it.
We tried this and there was just too much jiggle.
Yeah.
Huh, now that you mentioned that, how many times have you seen Troy use her communication badge?
Not too often.
Yeah. Very cool. So we are working out leadership roles again, and she's going to give orders to people wearing her 2 pips.
We have to climb up the shaft.
These kids, there is something about these kids. I can't put my finger on it. I want to say I know them from somewhere.
I don't think they were in anything other than this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have time to argue. You must go now.
They should have gone to the battle bridge first. That would have been more interesting.
It would be funny if that would have been a good aside. It's like, the battle bridge works on a completely separate system, and we could have restored power to the entire ship from there. Other than on a schematic, though, I don't quite know where the battle bridge is supposed to be on the Enterprise.
I think it's kind of it's at the top of the star drive section where the saucer section connects, if that makes any sense. So like if the saucer section and the star drive section separated, it would be at the uppermost point of that column. And the only reason I say that is because when we saw the ship separate and they would reconnect, the view from the view screen was always the 2 pieces connecting. Now, even though the view screen could show you anything, I would like to think that's where it happened. So Erica Flores, our leader there, has been in a lot of TV movies. That is this girl's game. She has been in at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 20 titles.
Is she still acting, or
1990 to 1991? I think they retired. She retired in 2009.
Oh, okay.
This woman is a year older than me. She's 42, born in 1978. Huh. That's funny because when I watched it, I thought she was younger than me.
Not me. I definitely thought, when I watched it, that she was older than me.
So Geordi is proposing a radical idea where let's just open the doors and vent all the radiation and the explosive from space. That seems like a really good idea. Fixing the broken arm, Nurse Keiko, though she's not a nurse.
No, it was. Just remember, when you do that, it's not being sucked out into space; it's being blown out into space by the air pressure that was already inside the ship.
Mm-hmm. This is really bad first aid that they're doing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the bloodied lady next to Worf is just nothing's happening. Yeah, just ignore her.
Okay, I know your eye popped out of the socket, so we're gonna just put some duct tape over it.
Worf and Keiko, this bit right here is hilarious.
But watching it again this morning, you can tell that once she actually starts giving birth, they did not shoot their scenes together.
They did not what?
Shoot their scenes together.
Yeah, okay.
They're reacting to each other's dialogue, but he's with a body double of Keiko, and she is completely by herself, which I can understand. She probably doesn't want to do the heavy breathing and pushing.
I was telling Jim the other day, it's like, I wouldn't mind trying carrying a baby and giving birth. I know it's not biologically possible, but imagine what an experience that would be to grow a person. How just it blows my mind.
Yeah, it'll eventually. I think that it's eventually going to be possible for that to happen.
And well, you'd have to find a way to not only replace all the body parts, but for them to function. So that would be the interesting part. So Deanna's kind of pulling a Picard. She's having a meeting in the working room, in the briefing room. She's doing some active listening, just making sure that she heard what everybody said. And then she makes an assertive statement and just kind of calls the meeting to an end.
Mhm.
When I was a kid, I thought everything was fixed by a meeting. Made my transition into being a bureaucrat very easy. Like,
here's the argument between Troy and Ro is that Troy wants to divert energy that they need in the saucer section to monitors in the star drive section.
Mm-hmm.
Ro's like, that's not worth doing because we can't know for a fact that anybody's alive there. And they're both good arguments.
Mm-hmm.
If they are alive, then it's a good idea. If they're not, it is literally a waste.
Yes.
I would probably side with Ro if I was there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that O'Brien's being very objective. Like, he hasn't brought up all those, his wife, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's really kind of bringing up their families or their friends, are just saying, we don't know if the crew. Everybody is the crew. It almost
it's
seems
a shitty thing it would be a totally shitty thing to do, and it would make it so that nobody would want him on a team if that was his priority was to, what was going on with his wife.
True. I wouldn't blame him, though. It's just...
No, I wouldn't blame him either. Just in that situation, if his first thought was to his wife and not to the ship, you'd be like, yeah, Keiko needs to transfer, or let's not put O'Brien in situations where we have to rely on him in that way.
Mm-hmm. So let's dive into one of the other actors, John Christian Grass, the gentleman in the green. Oh, I love how they're just using this fiber optic as rope.
Yep.
Let's see here. What has he done? He was in what? No. He was in the 1992 It's Christmas Time Again, Charlie Brown. I wonder if he was one of the singing kids.
What role does it say he played?
Oh, I'm not seeing it.
He's probably just random kid.
He was in The Best of Dr. Seuss, Adventures from the Book of Virtues, LA Firefighters.
More of a voice actor than a face actor.
He was in Seinfeld. Whoa. And 2 episodes, The Parking Space and The Non-Fat Yogurt. So this is a very well-established child actor. Like, they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. He was Kevin in Kindergarten Cop. That's great.
That was this year. That was 1991, wasn't it?
1990. It's not a tumor.
So the year before.
Oh, that's totally that kid.
I haven't seen that movie in a minute. That's so crazy that it's over 30 years old now.
I know, right? Oh, and this is where he teaches a French song.
Well, they all know Frere Jacques.
I don't know it. I'm just reading along with subtitles. I mean, I know the melody, but I don't know the words other than the Frere Jacques.
That's funny they didn't teach you that in school. That was like I've known that one since preschool. That's just me being classist and weird.
Frere Jacques. What is the lyric? What does that lyric mean?
Oh, in English?
Brother John is the name of the song.
Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John. Morning bells are ringing. Morning bells are ringing. Ding, dang, dong. Ding, dang, dong.
Oh, this is the body double scene you're talking about right here.
Yes.
Worse
So
is a great
Go ahead.
great line in here where it's like, this is not proceeding how it was in our training. That was
he's
quite
a
orderly.
A holodeck childbirth simulation.
She wasn't worried because I still had a month to go.
I didn't know Molly was a preemie.
Yeah.
Huh.
Have you ever done this before? Delivered a baby?
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. Klingons do not deliver babies.
I read the brochure in the waiting room of Dr. Crush's office.
I saw the movie What to Expect When You Are Expecting. I did not read the book. Klingons do not read books.
Once the air is vented, the first thing you'll feel is an extreme
Oh.
pressure on your lungs.
So this is where you kind of learn from Dr. Crusher what it's like to be exposed to space.
And some capillaries on the exposed sections of the skin may burst.
They could have totally make-upped that up on both of them to make it look like they were exposed to space.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Once the air is evacuated, one of us is going to need to get to that panel.
I love how the only panel to save them is on the other side of the room.
Mm-hmm. If only they had an android to run really fast.
Now, what I want to know is, why are they holding on to the ladder on that position and not... So, like, when they're holding on to
with
it
the ladder
there
in front
now,
of them. Yeah.
yeah, it's like they're being pulled. Whereas if they were on the
They
other
could
side of the
brace-
ladder,
yeah,
they would
brace
be,
their body against it.
yeah, they would be pushed into it.
And then they could have spent the money that they used to make them get pulled on making those abrasions appear on their skin.
Yeah, there we
But
go.
the actors could have just played like they were being pushed into the. There is some CGI.
Is the fire out? No, the fire's not out. Wow, jeez.
Although
Jordy's got
actually,
a-
the actors are just doing. They're not being. I mean, they're having wind blown in their faces, but they're playing it that.
Jordy had a great one-handed hold there while his other arm was holding around Beverly, keeping her on the
Get there, Crusher.
ladder.
As we said in our last episode, whatever button she pushes is the right button.
Oxygen. Woo. Thank you, Lieutenant Alex Blaine later.
It'd be funny if like this Texan guy comes in there and he's like, "Where are my barrels? Are they safe?" We had to blow them out the airlock. Oh boy!
My rattlers
That
were
was-
in there.
That was billions of credits. Billions.
Have you made preparations to separate the saucer section?
So they are getting ready for both plans, and I'm okay with that. So Miss Deanna Troy here, though, I think becomes a stronger professional after this episode. She actually
Absolutely.
references this episode saying, you know, I'm kind of tired of being a wallflower in these emergency situations. I need to know what to do. And
Yep.
I believe in one instance, she takes the command test, and Riker won't tell her what the passing maneuver is. And it's funny because she kind of does the passing maneuver here, which is to order someone to their death. And she's faced with a very life and death situation. She takes a greater risk by staying than by leaving.
Okay, try it.
Oh, Data. This is a great effect right here.
It is. It looks really good with the LEDs around his neck and the nodes inside his head.
Now, remember, LEDs were kind of a new thing back then. And
Yeah,
so
we talked about that with what the available colors were and stuff.
Red, orange, and green were pretty much the known colors. They didn't have a white LED at the time. I think they were just working on blue. They actually had LEDs in electronics since like the 70s. I remember having an old amplifier my dad got me. It was just the red power button. That was the light. And it was weird because in the owner's manual, they never called it the power light. They called it the light emitting diode. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah. And Data has had the wrong port pushed on him, so Riker's trying to fix it and makes the joke that he needs a bigger head.
Right. So where's the engineering crew that's on duty? Did they just run away from their positions? Like,
no, they couldn't get. There was absolutely no way to contact engineering. Was the idea?
No, but someone's always on duty down there. You think that Riker would have been just kind of strolling into engineering with Data's severed head, saying, "So I see you guys got a problem. We're here to help."
Well, they're not in main engineering. They're just in some weird corridor of the ship.
Are they? I totally thought they were engineering.
No.
There we go. So,
a good response
right
from the leader says you could easily have been right.
Well, that woman knows how to make a decision. Holy cow. There we go. We made it up the elevator shaft. Woohoo! And out they go.
What would have been funny is it's like, and here we are. They're looking right at Keiko's baby coming out of her.
No!
Look away, children. Children, look away. That's not a radish.
I don't know. I think I'd let a kid watch a birth.
Oh yeah, and
with mommy's permission, obviously. Yeah. But that's
you want to hope that in the 24th century, live birth is not something weird. But I remember being in school and hearing about the girls have to watch a live birth video, and one of them passed out or somebody threw up.
I think they should make the guys watch a live birth videos. Like, well, if you play with your wiener, you can be watching this for real. Then you got the one guy just like, it's beautiful. I want this.
Congratulations. You are fully dilated to 10.
Oh, Worf. Congratulations. You may now give birth.
Does it say who played Keiko's legs? Because they should get some kind of
award. Right. Boy, I'm not seeing it. I've been looking all over for it, and it just is not there. I mean, I know Worf hasn't had much experience with ladies, but this is really bad. This is almost a Spectrum response. Like,
and sadly, for Rosalind Cho, I'm sure does not love it. All of these facial expressions that she's making have been used for many dirty Star Trek meme.
Oh yeah. I never could really tell if she enjoyed playing her character or not. She comes back a lot, but
I think she does. I think she doesn't like working with Cole Meany, if I had to guess, though.
They do it well, though. In fact, the episodes where they argue seem to be the most genuine.
Oh, yeah.
Push. Hard.
Gosh, sounds like she's puking.
Yep.
Holy cow. Yeah, so Mr. Worf is going to be giving back
the child to induce breathing. The child is dead.
So this baby right here is actually a Tedeschi twin. That's the name of the twins who play Molly in 2 episodes. So just how you had the Olsen twins playing one character, you had the Tedeschi twins that were in Disaster, and there's another episode called Power Play where they needed these twins. So
they're somewhere turning 30 this year.
Yeah, that's right.
If they both made it, I mean, one twin could have eaten the other.
Eaten? Yes. Yeah. There it is. Look how cute that baby is.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, where's mom? This is not mom.
He can see mom, or she can see mom from where she is. You can see where her eyes are pointed. Obviously not a newborn, because very, very focused on what they're looking at. Probably the mom right off camera.
Life aboard the Enterprise.
Well,
Man,
look at
they got
that.
and everything's fixed.
Yay, back to normal. And the kids are back for their tour. This
Which
time we're
is
starting with
super sweet. I like this button at the end. The other thing would have been fun is if they had that's kind of weird that Worf like is smiling at him from where he's standing. Because normally he's so stoic. Yeah, he's looking at him like,
I missed it.
like, hey kids, welcome to the bridge.
Captain Picard, bridge, please.
What? Children on the bridge? What the hell?
With the plaque that he's getting, though, it would have been kind of cool if they'd had like somebody from the Admiralty do that with the kids.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like they have an admiral come in there like, this happened and you did this, this, and this. And he's like, I've got somebody that has something to say to you, and the three kids walk in with the plaque.
They're still wearing their pips. Look at that. That's great.
Yeah. Well, he could just replicate pips.
How cool would it be if like he held on to that plaque and that's in
I
the
know.
Picard
I want to
series
see.
now?
I want to see that in Picard.
Wonderful job you did of it, too. Well, later this afternoon.
Obviously, you kids can't use a replicator. This looks handmade. It's full of shit. No.
No, he'd be extremely respectful of something that was handmade like that. Calls her number one.
Oh, yeah. Jokes. My bad.
Aw, and Picard winks.
You know, Picard, actually, aside from what the character proclaims that they don't like children, I think the character would be very good with children. I mean, look how his interaction with his nephew, for example. Oh my goodness. Well,
Oh, we got the game coming up.
that's right, the game. But we got to wrap up the disaster. I freaking loved it. It's always been one of
5
my
out of
favorite
5.
episodes. It's a really good, like I said, escape room episode. You get to see people work together who don't normally work together, like Geordi and the Doctor. They never have one-on-one time, which is great. Riker and Data, yeah, they've kind of been palling around for a few times, but to put Deanna in a position of leadership, you never see that, and it's a breath of fresh air. And I'd like to
Agreed.
say, I'd really like to say that season 4 is season 5. They really start turning things around and they start spinning some old locked-in concepts that should have gone away, like Picard not liking kids. It's obvious he is comfortable with children.
Yes.
And so we're kind of putting to rest the season 1 and 2 and 3 character mistakes, I'd like to say, and we're really kind of rebooting some of these folks. So for that, I would have to give this episode 4 out of 5 unlaunched escape pods. So
I give it a
about
5
you?
out of 5.
5 out of 5.
One of the best episodes they ever did, especially for a bottle show.
Criticisms. Do you have any criticisms about this?
Well, like I
episode?
said, the deal with the problem that only Data could fix.
Yeah.
And you were saying, the way that the ship, there's really no rhyme or reason to how the ship works other than to, have it do the things it needs to do for the particular episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best take on that that's ever been done is the movie Galaxy Quest,
Mm-hmm.
where aliens went and looked at something and were like, okay, we're gonna have to make it work that way, even though it doesn't really serve any function other than to be an exact copy of the way that it was on a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, you ready for some Ashley Judd?
Yeah, the second appearance of Ashley Judd's character.
Yes, you are going to have to wait one more week to October 28th, my friend. So, we have the game coming up. It is a welcome home Wesley Crusher. He is on shore leave, and shore leave can only happen on the Enterprise when it is completely ruined. I've lost count of how many ruined vacation episodes that we've had. I think I think the last Ruined Vacation episode we had was with Jordy. He was on his way to Ryza and he got brainwashed by Romulans. So. All right. Well, with that, thank you for joining us and have a wonderful day. Music provided by lofigirl.com. Artists include Tenno, Daydreaming, BVG and Mondberg, Insomnia, WYS, Snowman, Bcalm and Banks, Because. Episode cover art created by Matthew Kirschner. Podcast logo and main cover art provided by David Clawwitter. Audio engineering done by Sascha Schaudies.